Hello again. Welcome to Swing and a Drive. Thank you for joining us for a few minutes. That is Logan. I am James. I pointed this way because I'm an idiot. That is Logan. I am James. And we are going over the trade deadline 2024. So we made a video. Our last video was who we thought was going to go. We gave it a little bit of odds one way or another.
Go back and watch that one if you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, go back, check it out, see how we did. We are going to go over how we did right now, though, so there's that too. So anyway, let's just get right into the trades because there was a lot of movement for the Jays, and we're a different team today than we were 24 hours ago, like massively different. So as just like a little quick rundown, the Jays traded away 8. We brought in 14 for a net gain. We got six extra guys into the organization, 12 new prospects and 2 different major leaguers. We are now going to be below the salary cap in 2024 with a salary of about $235 million. So that's really good for the coming seasons. And as Logan noted in our pre-chat, we have traded away about 5 years or so of control, and we've brought back approximately 72 years worth of control. So between the draft and the trade deadline, we must admit the cupboards are more stocked.
I'm an Atkins hater.
Sure.
It's well documented. He did a good job of replenishing the cupboards.
Yes, it's not as bare as it once was.
It's not as bare. Kind of if you average it out, our farm system before the deadline was in the bottom 5, and now we're in the middle 5. So that's a pretty big jump, I would say.
That's a good increase in anything, yeah.
In a couple of days' work.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see. And I kind of got like as the totality of everything seemed like a bit of a reset. We like sort of a mea culpa by management saying, oh, my bad, reset, let's try again.
Well, I mean, in a big way, I feel like, because you sort of pointed out before too that like we traded away every significant free agent signing we got except Yariel Rodriguez.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's a clean slate from the previous year. We'll try again this year and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But who's missing? Well, we'll start right at the start of our list. We started with Danny Jansen
Jano
in our list, and Logan and I didn't think that this was going to happen.
That one hurt. That one hurt, man. That one cut me deep. Like, Jano's my guy. I've been we've talked about it before. Like, who's your favorite Jay? It took me a while to realize it, but it's Danny Jansen. Now I don't know who's my favorite now. Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Coming the other way,
we got a good, decent
Cutter
return.
Coffee, infielder. Edinson Paulino.
Single A. Edinson Paulino. Double A.
Gilberto Batista, right-handed
Single
pitcher. Single A, yeah.
So, 3 prospects back for Danny. Can't ask much more for a guy that's going to be like probably their starting catcher now because they DFA'd Reese McGuire when they brought in Danny Jansen.
Right.
But he'll be a good rental for them for the next,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
2-ish months, sure. And then he'll go to free agency.
Yeah. And we'll talk about him again in a future episode when we do our free agent
more on that
coverage.
For sure.
We'll talk about Danny again.
For sure.
Yeah. So Logan and I were wrong. We both said low odds on.
Yeah,
Danny
we were a little
traded.
low on that.
We
did not do.
I was thinking about we give it a number, right? We give it like a 30%, 40%, but when it gets traded, it's 100. It's either 100 or it's 0 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So whatever. Those were the odds we gave it.
Oh,
we
were
wrong on that one.
When you get right down to it, every player that we gave a chance to be traded except one was traded.
Yeah, exactly. So
and
the next guy on our list, much loved Yusei Kikuchi. Both Logan and I said about a 65% chance, and it was a pretty good odds that a very good
it was
left-handed
probably much
starter.
Higher than that. Like once we got a little more information after too, it became clear that it was much higher than that. Like he was getting traded.
Yes.
The fact that it took right to the deadline basically was a shock,
Yep.
but an amazing return, right?
That was gonna say, coming back the other way. We
This
got
is the win of the whole thing.
infielder Will Wagner, who is Billy
Will Wagner,
Wagner's kid.
son of Billy Wagner,
It was the Blue Jays trend
Triple A, lots of upside.
the Blue Jays trend of
Yes,
bringing in
we love sons of Hall of Famers or
yeah
potential Hall of Famers. Let's go.
the legacy players. So that's
The
great.
legacies, yeah.
We brought in Joey Loperfido. He says center field, but he's an outfielder. He
Yeah,
played a lot of
outfielder,
right
and
field.
he's on the team. Like, he's a major leaguer. That's the major
Yeah,
league.
he's one of the two major leaguers that's here, and he's got some upside. He's got some power, and we'll see how he does. And then the big one that has got Houston fans in an uproar,
in a bit of an uproar. Yeah,
young starting pitcher Jake Bloss, who was the second ranked prospect in the whole Houston organization, and he's now the first ranked prospect of the Blue Jays top 100 for whatever that is for everybody else.
Yeah, so in the MLB pipeline prospect ranking, he's 92nd.
Yeah.
But that's still the highest ranked Blue Jay on that list.
Yeah. So for a few months of Kikuchi, we got some serious value back.
Yeah.
Which is
again, in our future free agency episode, we'll be talking a lot about Kikuchi. Because there's a very good chance that he's re-signed.
Yes, we'll see how the offseason looks. If they win, it's always harder when they win with another team, but we'll see how things go. So after Kikuchi, we brought in Chris Bassitt. We decided to chat about Chris Bassitt. Logan had low odds that Chris Bassitt would be traded based on mostly the fact that we weren't going to be trading people with control beyond 2025, right? Or 2024. Yeah, 2024. I had said higher odds, but I did change my mind later because I think Logan made a compelling argument there. We just would have gotten the best haul for Chris Bassitt.
I sort of changed my mind. Like, once we got that haul for Kikuchi, and it became the number one question for everybody that is talking about the Blue Jays trade deadline is, well, let's go trade Chris Bassitt. If that's what we got for Kikuchi, let's trade for Chris Bassitt because the return should be even better for someone with more control, right? But not necessarily true. I think the Kikuchi one was a bit of a once in a lifetime type return for a Ross Atkins trade. I don't think Ross Atkins had a ton to do with this trade. To be totally honest with you, I think James Click had more to do with this trade than anything, at least informing the Blue Jays as to who they should be targeting from Houston. So, I mean, Jake Bloss, Blue Jays number one prospect. He becomes the Blue Jays number one prospect instantly. And he'll be a starting pitcher for us in 2025 if everything goes as planned. He's also gone through all of the minor leagues this year. He was drafted last year.
Yeah.
Right. So he's gone through all of the minor leagues and has had major league time in 2024 already.
Just think about it from the perspective of if you were one of the people that has been really excited about Ricky Tiedemann, this guy just surpassed Ricky Tiedemann on our list of prospects. So get excited if you want, but this is a guy to get excited about.
He's one that we for sure brought in to be around for a while.
Yes, agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
He'll be a Blue Jay.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the number of young arms with some potential to be good in this league, we have a few finally in our system. So that's great, and let's see how that turns out.
Yeah.
But it's Chris Bassitt. He did not go. He's
still a Blue Jay.
He's still a Blue Jay.
We're kind of happy about that, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I'm good with that for next year. That's great. And we've got other guys in the.
He's a competitor and he wants to win, so he goes out there and gives it his all every time.
Yeah, 100%. Justin Turner, Logan said 70, I said 80. It was a good
100
chance.
At the end of the day.
In the end, it turned out to be 100%. And then Justin Turner returned outfielder R.J. Schreck. The first name on the all-name team that we have acquired.
The all-name team.
So we have Schreck on our team.
Yeah, and that was a 1-to-1 trade, and I think that's a decent trade. Like you get rid of Turner's contract. They're taking Seattle's taking all the money,
Yeah.
and we get this AA outfielder back. So who I believe, yeah, he's left-handed. So that's a theme of lots of these guys that came back. They're
Yep.
left-handed or they're switch hitters,
Yep.
which is something that the Jays have been lacking for a long time.
Yes, and
So
another one of the things that has been a trend too with all these guys is power potential or hitting potential, not just power
yeah,
potential, but some hitting, some potential to be hitters.
yeah,
So we'll see how that comes out. These guys are all, like some of them we might see in the next year or so, but for the most part, these are guys that will, if they have an impact on the Jays, it'll
yeah.
be
Couple
it'll
of
be a
seasons.
few years yet. Yeah. So that was Turner. Next guy, Logan and I both called this one pretty easy though. Trevor
Trevor
Richards,
Richards, yeah.
traded to the Minnesota Twins,
Minnesota Twins for Jay
coming
Harry,
back. Jay Harry,
high high A infielder.
outfield.
Oh, it says infield on the thing I'm looking at. So
Oh,
obviously
infield, outfield.
he's a guy that moves around a little bit. He is in high A right now, so he could be any position by the time he makes the major leagues, if he
We'll
makes the
see.
major
Yeah,
leagues.
yeah.
So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, and I don't
But
know.
yeah,
We don't know too much about his scouting, about how he profiles. That's something we'll have to find out in the next year or two as
yeah,
he goes through.
he is the lowest level guy that we have in. He's 22 years old. In high A this year, hit 214,
Yeah,
655 slugging, 5 home runs, 39 RBIs. Like it, yeah, it's not outstanding, but it's not the end of the world. It's something for Richards, which I wasn't sure if Richards was going to go at the end here. Like this was a last minute trade. This happened hour before the deadline here, um, and the Jays abused the hell out of that guy, and he didn't really have much left in the tank. So I
yeah.
think he'll with the Twins he'll be used much differently, and he'll be a lot more successful. But like his last few outings, he's been not good, right?
No, 100%. I totally
Not
agree
good.
with that. Yeah,
So it was a concern for a little bit as to whether he was going to get traded or not. Not that he's a super high salary guy, so it's not like it's would have been a big deal if he didn't get traded. But we both thought it was very high chances.
yeah,
So
yep,
there you go. In the end, we were right. He got traded.
yep. Um, Jimmy Garcia, again,
Jimmy,
Logan
first
called
one
it.
to go, really, right? Like,
99%. I called
yeah,
90 plus. I mean, both of us were pretty sure on this one, and I think he was one of the very first to go. Brought
it was
back a
almost like real trade. I feel like that we
yeah,
had
yeah,
someone going, brought
yeah.
back two
Two
prospects.
Yeah, a young catcher named Jacob Sharp and a center fielder named Jonathan Classe.
In Class A, who by all accounts is probably going to be on the team at some point this year.
Okay, I hadn't seen anything really about him yet. So
Yeah, what does
he's
it say? Triple A. In Triple A, he's hitting 274 with 10 home runs and 26 stolen bases. So he's an exciting, fast guy. I think we see him soonish.
I can agree with that.
Or they let him kind of play it out the rest of the year in AAA and see what they've got out of this kid. But lots of people are saying like he might be up this year, and if there's any kind of like injury move or whatever, he's almost definitely coming up.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if Stuart Baroa doesn't start doing something, like they'll get swapped for each other. Like there's lots of opportunity for Jonathan Classe to be on the major league roster at
Yeah.
some point
Yeah.
this year.
Well, this is what I think we talked about this a little while ago, and I said like what I would like to see for the rest of the year now is basically a revolving door. I just want to see as many guys that are bubble or
Yeah,
close
yeah.
in the majors against major league level players to see who's got chops. That's
We've
what I want
we essentially get an extra 2.5 months of spring training,
of 2025 spring training.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
this is.
yeah, yeah.
This is what do we got? How do you perform? We're going to give you all a cup of coffee in the next 2 months,
Fully.
and we're going to see what it's like against like actual. This is better than spring training, really, because we're not playing other spring training rosters.
Totally.
We're playing other major league rosters.
Yeah.
So this gives us way more of an idea of what we're going to have than spring training would.
Yeah, I agree.
So really, like they need to really make good use of the options and moving guys around and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And then the last guy we talked about in our pre-episode was Chad Green. Logan didn't think it was
Chad Green.
He thought it was basically 50-50.
Yeah.
And I thought it was thought it was 80%, 88-85%. I thought it was a pretty good chance that they would move him, even though he did have some control beyond. Just based on the fact that he's a very effective reliever in the back end, I thought we might get a compelling offer for him. But
I like a lot of surprise that he didn't go. Blair and Barker was talking about it the whole time, the like last hour to the deadline. Like, why hasn't Chad Green been traded? He has to be traded. It would have been a good 10 million off the books too, like another 10 million down. All this money that we take off the books, right, is money to spend in free agency next year. Like, so the more that comes off, the better chance we have of signing Vlad or bringing in somebody to hit behind Vlad or in front of Vlad. Like, we need both of those things. This team has a long way to go. Like, this was great. We replenished the ranks, but we got a long way to go.
Oh yeah, like we got holes. We've got some holes to fill at the present moment. So for sure. So now,
so 2 guys. So what were we? We went 2 guys we had wrong because we did talk about there was chances of Bassitt and Green to get traded, and neither of those guys went. Everybody else we thought had a chance got traded.
Yeah.
And now a couple of guys we never even thought would get traded also got traded.
Yes.
And that starts with Nate Pearson. Is that where we're going to start?
Yeah, Pearson was the very first, first surprise guy for sure.
Pearson was a surprise. Pearson was the biggest surprise because literally Ross Atkins, like I say literally, but like paraphrasing, Ross Atkins said,
"Yeah, this is
we're not only going to trade players with control, with like that don't have control after 2024, right? Like we're going to trade expiring contracts only."
Yeah,
is probably closer to exactly what he said.
Yeah,
and then the next guy to move was Nate Pearson.
Yeah.
Who has 3 more years of control. He's a free agent after 2027.
Yeah.
But it brought back a couple of guys, and frankly, like I don't know, I've been off the Nate Pearson train for like 2 years already. Like I'm happy to see him go. It was surprising. Don't get me wrong that the trade was done, but just surprising that the trade was done. I'm not surprised to see Nate Pearson move. I'm happy to see Nate Pearson go. His start as a Cub was absolutely hilarious. And we brought back 2 prospects, Yohendrick Penengo and Josh Rivera, both AA guys.
Yeah, we've definitely sent away a lot of pitchers, and we haven't received a lot of pitchers yet. So that's definitely something that is lingering at this point. But we'll move on to the next guy. The next surprise trade was Isaiah kiner-falefa.
It was a shock. It wasn't unexpected. But we didn't talk about it because we thought the chances were so low that it wasn't worth talking about.
Totally. Yeah, agreed.
There's lots of upside to it, right? Like I've been saying since we signed him that he was an overpay. He is having a career season, so technically he's not being overpaid for what he's doing right now. But if he goes back to being the regular IKF next year, then it would be. So his salary off the books is pretty good. The return is not a lot. I thought it would have been another major leaguer or something, like a lower level major leaguer or something like that, like a 4A type guy. But we got a AA outfielder who bangs from the left side, apparently. Second on the all-name team, Charles McAdoo.
Charles McAdoo, yeah. And I was reading a little write-up about Charles McAdoo.
McAdoo?
And
McAdoo. It's McAdoo, right? So it's not McAdoo. It's got to be McAdoo.
McAdoo. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it, Logan.
There's no A after the M. Like, it's not Mac.
Here we go. What do you think? Write that in the comments. Mac or Mac?
Yeah.
Mick,
how do you say this cool new name?
Anyway, Love to hear everybody's pronunciations.
It's easier than Isaiah kiner-falefa, I'm
I
sure.
would like to see your phonetical spellings of McAdoo in the comments of this video, and if I don't, I'm gonna be disappointed in you. So do it.
All 15 of you.
So we'll see how McAdoo works out. He's got some potential. He's definitely one of Pittsburgh's highest. There's like their 29th.
Yeah, he was their 29th ranked
prospect in their organization, so that's great. You know, I'll take a top 30 from an organization.
Pretty much all the prospects we brought in will be in the top 30 of the Blue Jays organization.
There you go.
Like he might be one of the farthest out. And he's probably going to be like 32 or 33 in our org, and he would have been way higher than that had we not just added all these other guys.
All these guys, and so we'll see. Yeah. Though, sorry to see you go, Isaiah. You definitely
yeah, man. He was having a banger year.
Earned his way. Like I was definitely critical of the move at the start, but
we all were.
I think he earned his way into our hearts and did a really good job as a Blue Jay. And so,
well, he really loved being in Toronto too.
Yeah,
it's going to be like I'm interested to hear a post game with him or a presser with him about it, just to hear what he has to say.
Yeah,
like Kikuchi was like breaking down.
Yeah,
part of the reason I think we'll see him again. Like he loves it here. His family loves it here. His kid literally said, "I don't want to leave Canada."
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we'll see.
And so one last surprise,
and this is probably
that nobody saw coming. In
biggest surprise of all.
Final seconds of the trade deadline.
Formerly waived and not taken by anybody for free.
By anyone.
Kevin Kiermaier traded to the LA Dodgers for Ryan Yarbrough.
Now, this one is kind of so fresh, we don't know if there's other stuff involved. Like, Kiermaier is owed, well, this year his contract was $10.5 million. And Yarbrough, what did we say, was like 3.9?
3 something, yeah.
3.9.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming because it's the Dodgers, they're taking on all that salary. Otherwise, we wouldn't really have done this deal. It sort of makes sense because we need arms in the bullpen, whether they're declined as Yarbrough is or not. We need them. If you can throw a ball and have a heartbeat, you are welcome in the Blue Jays bullpen right now.
Yeah.
You'll get a chance anyway, right? Like,
yeah,
you're going to get a chance. If you can stand upright on the mound and throw a couple balls in the direction of home plate, you will get a chance.
You'll get a go. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, ultimately, it's good. It's good. This is a big salary dump for us. Like,
the whole point of the waiving of Kiermaier, putting him on waivers to see if somebody would pick him up, was the salary dump. And that move alone would have gotten us, I think, close to a number for, or no, wouldn't have gotten us something like that for the
about halfway.
Moving
Kiermaier would have got us about halfway.
Yeah, so it would have been a big one, and so that's one of the reasons they did it in the first place. But all we've done now is just taken a little bit of his contract off the books and brought back a different one.
Kiermaier's salary would not have affected the 2025 trade or salary tax anyway.
No, because he wouldn't be here.
Was a free agent, he wouldn't be here. So it's less of a salary dump. It's more like giving Kiermaier a chance to go. Obviously, somebody finally wanted him in the Dodgers. They need a little help. They're injury ridden. Like, it's crazy over there.
Yeah.
And they're really not as good as they should be with all the money that they've spent. And Kiermaier, still one of the best defenders in the outfield in all of baseball.
Totally.
So he'll be out there making crazy dives in the 9th inning of playoff games this year for the final year of his career, and good for him.
Yeah, good for him, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I have to say, he was always a thorn in the side of the Blue Jays when he played for the Rays. He seemed to be clutch at hitting against us, even though he's not a career.
Yeah, we at least sent him to a team that we don't have to play anymore this year. Like, we played the Dodgers already. That's done for the year. So
But he did really
The
well
whole
for the
Danny Jansen
Jays.
situation is hilarious.
The year and a half he played for us, he did really well for us, and he definitely.
He's a gamer too, right?
I
Like he goes out there.
I found myself ending up cheering for him, even though because of
Oh
his time
man,
on the Rays, I was like, Kiermaier, I hate you. But over the time
when
he was here,
he's
I came
that
around
guy
on
though,
him.
right? Like when he's not on your team, he's so easy to hate,
Yeah,
and when he is on your team, he's so easy to like.
yeah, yeah. So
Kind of guy you want. So yeah,
good luck to
good luck
Kiermaier.
there, Kevin. Have
Yeah,
I mean, you went to the Dodgers, so I don't think you're getting a ring this year, but have fun in the playoffs because you will be there at least.
totally. Yeah, and that exactly. Good for him. Go out on a high note. Get some postseason in, and
Yeah,
that's good.
and we got back a bullpen arm, like I said. So, it's a 1-1. It was a shocker. Nobody saw this coming because Kiermaier has literally been on the trading block for a month now, or maybe a little more.
I think
And
I literally wrote it in the blurb for our last video, that like, and we didn't talk about
we're
Kiermaier
not
because
talking about him because,
there's no
yeah,
chance he's getting traded because
exactly.
nobody took him for free.
Nobody's taking him. But hey, like once the word came out, he started playing really well.
Yeah,
So there's that side of it.
yeah. The chip on the shoulder Kiermaier is a good Kiermaier.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
so
trade deadline was crazy.
it was busy.
Way more active when we're sellers, right? Like crazy, like learning
Yeah,
about new names and stuff. It's not like when your buyers kind of crazy when you're like, oh man, we signed one big name, we're so
and
excited.
it's a name that
This
somebody usually people already know about when
exactly,
you're
yeah. In
buying.
this case, it was like a whole. We've got an entirely new farm system, and it's better. We
Yes,
improved.
yes, we did
Yeah.
improve. So
So good trade deadline.
I can't
As,
complain about it.
as much as we don't want to be in this situation, right? Which is what everybody's saying all the time. Um, they took the lemons they had and they made a pretty solid glass of lemonade.
Yeah,
They made a
yeah.
pitcher. They made a pitcher of lemonade with all these guys that they brought in.
It doesn't count as a fire sale. So anybody that says this was a fire sale
Yeah, not a
is
fire sale.
confused about a fire sale. This was not a fire sale.
Correct.
This was just a retool. This was a sale.
Yeah,
Not
this
everything
was
must go.
exactly what you have to do when your team is in this place at
Yeah,
the trade deadline.
yeah. So we'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
We got a couple months. There's going to be a bunch of guys
Whew.
you've never heard about
This is
or
going to be a
whatever.
revolving door to AAA
Yeah,
for outfielders and infielders over the next 2 months.
yeah. And then we will see. We'll see what the off season brings. But I guess we've got a much different team to
Or
get to
another
know
day.
for the next couple months, and so let's get to know them. And
Yeah.
yeah, I guess next time we're probably going to chat a little bit more about the free agent situation, and what we think.
Yeah, I'll start outlining who
The
will be
holes.
available as free agents and
Yeah,
the holes that the Jays need to fill.
exactly. So now that this is done, that's the next sort of logical place to look, and
Yeah.
so that's where we'll be going. And when we do that, we'll let you know, and the video will go up, and we'll hope that you watch it. So until then, keep
Thanks for
watching the
watching this one.
Jays. Thanks for watching us, and we'll
Go
talk again.
Jays.
Okay, peace, guys.